who began to lurk in the forest, trying to catch the two together. One day, Kaidu found Ranjha alone in the forest and came up to him, pretending to be a beggar. Ranjha, remembering the days on the road when he too had to beg for food and shelter, gave Kaidu half a pastry that Heer had made for him. Kaidu took the pastry and brought it before the village elders as proof of young, beautiful village girl Heer's disobedience and wanton behavior. I have seen Heer and Ranjha in the forests, and I tell no lies. Ranjha will take away Heer, and there will be shame to the Sials. The elders went to Chuchak and told him about Kaidu's accusation. Chuchak was furious. Kaidan is a talebearer and a liar, he said. He chases moths all day. But Kaidan went to Heer's mother, urging her to do something. In the face-off, all the family pressure, Chuchak called Ranjha to him one night after Ranjha had returned with the buffaloes. In front of all his kinsmen, Chuchak dismissed Ranjha. Ranjha threw down his staff in a rage. For 12 years, I have tended your buffalo, and now you turn me away without wages. And Ranjha turned on his heel and left. But now all the village folk began to talk, criticizing Chuchak for dismissing Ranjha without even paying his wages. And of course, Heer was inconsolable. To calm the situation down, Chuchak relented. He took Ranjha back into his service, and more. Before 70 Khans and 72 nobles, Chuchak betrothed Heer to Ranjha, saying, "As long as thou shalt live, she is thine, and when thou art dead, she will not deny it. If anyone tear Heer from thee, I will bear witness against him in the court of God." But Heer's mother and uncle brought Heer before the Qazi, the judge, who reminded Heer of her duty to respect her family and their position in the village. It was beneath her to consort with buffalo herders. Heer refused to give up Ranjha. As wine bibbers cannot desert the bottle, as opium eaters cannot be without their drug, so I cannot live without Ranjha. After much back and forth, the Qazi still couldn't change young, beautiful village girl Heer's mind. Frustrated, he told the Sials that Heer was too stubborn, and to avoid further scandal, they should marry her off right away. The Sials called a clan meeting. Chuchak wanted to marry Heer to Ranjha, but his kinsmen overruled him. Even if the buffalo herder were noble-born, he was only a Ranjha of Takht Hazara, too lowly a family to marry a Sial. The family decided to marry Heer off to Saida of the Kara clan. The Sials and the Keras arranged the match, but on the day of the wedding ceremony, Heer refused to say, "I do," saying loudly at the wedding that she had been betrothed to Ranjha and that their union had been blessed by heaven and the saints. Muhammad formed the marriage procession, and Brahma set up the posts of the marriage canopy. The angels sang songs of rejoicing, and fairies brought the henna. The Panj Pir, 5 saints, performed the ceremony, and Khidr was witness. But it was no use. Young, beautiful village girl Heer's parents signed the marriage papers anyway, and the Keras took Heer back to Rangpur, to Saida's house. In the meantime, a heartbroken Ranjha had returned to Takht Hazara, but he couldn't forget young, beautiful village girl Heer. Resolving to search for her, Ranjha made his way to Tilla Jogyan, the temple where the Jogi, a beggar monk, Gorakhnath, lived. Bowing before a beggar monk, Gorakhnath, Ranjha asked to become a Jogi, a beggar monk. At first, a beggar monk, Gorakhnath, refused. As he recognized that Ranjha was noble-born, he doubted, correctly, that Ranjha had the humble nature of the true Jogi. So Ranjha stole a beggar monk Gorakhnath's conch, the one a beggar monk Gorakhnath used to call his followers in for their evening meal. He buried the conch, committing it to the care of Mother Earth and Saint Kizar. Without the conch, a beggar monk Gorakhnath couldn't summon his Jogis. To keep his followers from starving, a beggar monk Gorakhnath agreed to let Ranjha become a Jogi. Then Ranjha dug up the conch and blew it, once to the east and once to the west, to summon the Jogis to their meal. He kept the conch too. Then a beggar monk, Goraknath, rubbed Ranjha with ashes, shaved his head, pierced his ears, and gave him a begging bowl. He told Ranjha, "Call the young women's sister and the married women mother. Beg throughout the city and bring no shame on the profession of begging." But Ranjha threw away the begging bowl and earrings and rubbed off the ashes. "I was right about you," exclaimed the guru. But Ranjha only laughed. "We Jats are cunning. We use all means to get what we want. What can I do with a beggar's bowl whose heart is set only on plowing? How can I call her mother, for whose sake I would become a jogi?" At first, the guru was angry, but then